Hi, it is IYikKam time again. So in the past few days, I released 3 YouTube which is related to the physics of the sticking body short strike. So I received many messages from our Wing Chun friends, and there are a few questions which I like to uh, respond today, so that you guys see what it is, because I really mean it when I say that my agenda is for educations, okay, because everybody need to know this, okay. Now the first thing is, somehow people say, why do I wear this? Okay, well, when I do explanations, I wear that so that I do not have to mess up my hand. Okay? This is the tools in our modern worlds. If there's a good tools, use it. Okay? And I have another tools I want to show you. Okay? And before that, let me explain to you. We talk about the tour, the Chamkyu tour these few days. Remember my introductions of the eye disc, which is a year ago, on how we check ourselves in the central axis. See, all these modern tools is useful. We are not living in a thousand years ago. We want to make use of today's technology to improve ourselves more effective and more efficient way. It's not lock ourselves in the museum, okay? So use whatever it is useful to help us. And today I want to show you my eye punch, right? So this is I'm using for the sun punch. Why do I use it? I use this so that my core got the training. Remember we talked about yesterday, the core, even my body is tall, and it's close to my core, my core here. So I use this because my sun punch is not stuck here, suffocate and brute force. It is using with the tool. Okay? Yeah, I don't put this thing on, but I'll give you an idea. So it become natural. You need to go snap in the whole core door instead of block in the elbow and so forth. So again, all of these are modern tools, which is feeding the ecological science. We need to use it. We are not living in 10,000 years ago. Okay. Okay. Now, the first serious question which I like to share with everybody is, people asking me, so what is proper Wing Chun according to me? Is that proper Wing Chun, so forth? Let me give an answer today. Proper Wing Chun mean we follow what the ancient Chinese described when they designed Wing Chun, and it has to prove with scientifically or physics or biomechanics. That is proper. For me, let me share with you, with all my research, we need to respect all the grandmaster in the past, but we must not take anybody's words. Okay? Even, let me tell you, the short strike riding in 1700, there are 2 versions of it. The 2 versions happened because somebody remember a different words in Chinese characteristic and completely changed the meaning. So if we following a certain grandmaster, then it is trouble, because we don't even know is that teaching belong to that grandmaster or not. As the example I show you here, even the 1700 writing is off. One is totally off because of the wrong Chinese character is used there. Okay? So my idea on this academic way of Wing Chun is, here on, we respect all grandmaster, take everything into consideration. However, it has to be proven with physics, biomechanics, and the Yellow Emperor Classic. We follow that. We follow physics, biomechanics, biology, and Yellow Emperor Classics, because there's a rule govern how we human beings live properly and how things exist in this physical world. The rest, whoever say which grandmaster or what, I respect completely, because I really don't know what you tell me. How the grandmaster taught, is that it, or it is your own version? And a lot of time, many times, often, people do not know that they don't listen properly on what other people say. They think they heard that, but it is not what it is. Okay? So we need to be careful, and my suggestions on this so-called proper Wing Chun is, number one, we have to follow what the Chinese ancient classic describe. Okay? And we need to have a proven physical a proven evidence or facts based on physics, biomechanics, and Yellow Emperor Classics. Other than that, don't touch it. We don't have to against it, but we need to look at that. Is it what it is? But many of us just took, as soon as we heard the name of certain grandmaster, like IYikKam, you talk about IYikKam, everybody thought, oh, this is IYikKam, say it has to be. Well, is that true? No. It has to proven scientifically with physics, biomechanics, biology, and Yellow Emperor Classic. Otherwise, don't trust it, because we really don't know what it is. Okay? The third thing, the questions. Why am I so against Tai Chi or Tai Chi Jing or all this force or this mind power? Well, I like to tell you that I do not against anything, but we need to look at things with the full big picture and the details and the content. We don't take things as a partial and promote that or push that, okay, or put it into the Wing Chun and so forth. We cannot do that. Why? Let me tell you this. Okay, this is like a design, a chip. This is like a system. Okay. Every martial art, it is a legitimate martial art from Chinese traditional martial arts. The bottom line, because it is a fighting art, it is about momentum handling. Okay? Momentum handling. And strength is to support this momentum handling. And body condition is to support the strength and the momentum. Okay? That's why we have this 6-13-3. That's why I formulate out all this common denominator 6-13-3. Okay? Now, Wing Chun, sticking body short strike, operate here. Okay? Operate here. We know it is a tuo based on the Cham Kiu. We know that with the Sao Lao Zhong, meaning that the arms is close to the core. So it's playing angular velocity, angular momentum, okay, and it's Tor type. Now, in the real fighting, it's not just a momentum, one strike. It has to deal with the change within change. For example, if I talk this way, what if I miss? Or what if my opponent switch? I have to switch back. Okay, at this close. Okay, there is the change of the change. Okay, now my power generation, my strength, my Jing has to support that. This close with the change. Okay, now if I'm using, say, a generic southern Chinese martial art power generations, root up this type. How am I supposed to use it here? Okay, with this type of jig, I have to root and then strike. Okay, linear. Well, for the Wing Chun over here, I have to spin, speed up. I cannot root. I need to have the torque handling instead of rooting here, solid, those type. This is not going to support this. Again, the same with the Tai Chi. Say Peng Jing. Is that supporting the momentum here? Supporting your Cham Kyu? Can you play Cham Kyu with your Tai Chi Jing? Try it. It doesn't fit. It is physics. It is the study of momentum. It does have a signature. So how can that Tai Chi type of Jing, using Dan Tian to rotate and so forth, to support the Cham Kyu set and Cham Kyu type of torque and angular momentum handling in the dynamic? It can. Okay. The same with the shaking and all those stuff. Okay, those type of power generation. How can I shake here when it's so close and everything is tore in? Okay. So, in past 100 years, if you read history, somehow the propaganda of the Chinese martial art get into, oh, I have this Jing, internal Jing, and then the touch, it flies. Well, in demo, people can show if you touch, it fly. But that doesn't deal with when I'm here. Say if my opponent playing here with the dynamic of change within change, hook here. How am I supposed to Jing? He fly. I couldn't even have time to stand in this kind of position. But the Wing Chun torque, grinding, angular velocity, angular momentum, spinning, speed up, works here. That's Wing Chun. Okay? So, people have become superstitious and kinds of go off track without understanding the momentum, in Chinese called Si, or the tendency, which is need to be there in fighting to handle the change within change into all this Jing and all this. It doesn't support that, and it just go out of tangent and keeping thinking, oh, if I have this power, I stand in Zhanzhuang, I have this power, I can do that. But when you get into these situations, dealing with change within change, even one with those kinds of Jing, one can fall flat here. Because the body simply doesn't support this type of momentum handling. And speaking of that, the body condition. That's why in Wing Chun we need the body, quote unquote, the rattan body, or I name it in this era as the 7-bowl dynamic handling. We need that. Otherwise, our Cham Kyu will not work. So what is it? I know Tai Chi have a deep stuff, Zhan Zhuang have a deep stuff, but what good is that when it's not applicable? The term is applicable in Wing Chun. Okay? So we need to look at the system in terms of momentum, the change of momentum, the strength supporting it, the strategy of the momentum, how the strength be able to handle it within change, and what is the accelerations, what is the inertial condition, whole bunch of stuff. It is physics, and then we want to see how is our body is developed for that. Okay. So again, I don't against anything, but when it doesn't applicable to Tai Chi, you know what? If I don't say, those physicists will say, "Are you serious?" Today we can go to Mars. We can have this nanotechnology. Do you think that we can still be as the physicists on this thing? Do you think that we can get into the mainstream university with those kinds of thinking, where we have no idea between momentum, strength, but keeping thinking there's some kind of magic power? It doesn't work. Okay? Now, the last questions is people ask me to explain what is Qi. Why is it needed in Wing Chun? Okay. I like to tell others about this Qi. Qi is nothing mysterious. Qi is something which is, in fact, needed to be understood. That's why in the 1840 IYikKam Silim Tao Kui, you can see it talk about momentum, strength, Qi, body, mind, all kind of stuff, which is, I make it simple now with the 613.3, with my books, basic Wing Chun, those things. Okay? We need to speak or understand the language pre-1840. We cannot use today's language to just do anything, critics or whatever interpretation we want. Most people have no idea what happened in 1840s. Okay. Now, today I like to share with you one thing. Okay. I want to make Bruce Lee's sacrifications meaningful for all Wing Chuners. Yes, Bruce Lee sacrificed. Okay? So, the fact is this. After Bruce Lee passed away, okay, many internal martial artists and some top guy who know about Qi and so forth have a understanding and have think they know about the situations and about the problem. One of the guy who put it in the publications today, in the books, is IYikKam, the top cultivator of the Buddhism and the guy who really have handling of his chakra and the meridian flow. Okay, the guy who accomplished that. So in his book, written black and white, he is telling his friend, even though he don't mention Bruce Lee's name, because in that generations everybody is really careful in the words how they use, not like today we just go straight in talking. he told his friend that the documentary of Bruce Lee, even though he do a good thing for the Chinese, spreading Kung Fu, it's better not to broadcast in the TV for everybody to see, because that is going to damage the next generations of the Chinese youth, or the young generation, the Chinese young generations, or anybody who study Kung Fu, because what Bruce Lee practiced is violating the practice of Kung Fu. Okay? So, today I like to share with you what he's talking about, and once you know this, you know exactly what is the solutions, and thus Bruce Lee's sacrifications, we make it a positive one. Okay? Because Bruce Lee do his best, but he have blind spot, like all of us have blind spot. So Nan Huijing is commenting the way how Bruce Lee trained, because he ignored the Qi training, that he caused himself, Bruce Lee caused himself to die prematurely. Okay? And today I want to tell you what it is, and so we all can avoid it here on, and we make Bruce Lee's contribution a positive one, because somebody had to be guinea pig, right? If there's no guinea pig, we don't know. Okay? So take this as positive. Okay? Now, the key is when Bruce Lee trained, he do not know the theory of qi and blood of the Chinese traditional medicine, or in Yellow Emperor Classic, which is called Qi Xue Lun. Okay? In Chinese martial arts such as Wing Chun, as is written in the 1840 IYikKam Quinquit, Qi Xue Lun is a part of Wing Chun. Okay? So if you ignore that part, that means this engine, this body is going to get damaged. Okay? Remember, our ancestors said the martial art is for strengthen the body and self-defense. Okay? Now, for strengthen the body, one need to know the Qi Xue Lun. So, Qi here is not breathing, because the Chinese using Qi term for a lot of many things. Sometimes it's breathing, sometimes it's energy. So Xue is blood. So Qi Xue Lun is just meaning the theory of the energy circulations within the body and the blood circulation within the body. Okay? Also, the amount of energy stored in one's body. Okay? So that's what Qi Xue Lun. Now, the body's energy is very important, the number one important according to the Chinese. Okay? For the Chinese, a healthy person or strong person will have a strong energy flow and energy storage with a smooth blood flow. That means balance. Okay, this is the most simple way to explain this. Okay, so you have the energy and the blood flow, so they has to be circulate very smoothly, no stagnations, and they has to be have enough energy and blood. But energy is more important than blood. Okay, now if the body keeping draining energy, okay, draining energy is going to damage the body in the long term. That is what all those Chinese scholar or expert in Qi, including Nan Haijing, that's correct. Bruce Lee make a mistake of all this really diligent training. He didn't take care of his body. Okay? And another thing is the diet is improper. So when the body do not have enough energy and you keeping train it, it's going to drain the body, and in the long term it causes damage. Okay? So in the training of the Chinese martial arts like Wing Chun, there has two phases of training. Say when we train the applications or the Xiu Lim Tao or the set, that is called training. That is improve the qi and blood circulations. Okay, it's improving or it helps circulations. That is called lian, training. There's another phase which is today very rarely people talk about it, is the phase of yang. Yang is like charging your lithium ion battery. Today we all have cell phone, we have to have charge. Okay, now today's martial arts mostly have lian training, but there's no yang. Okay, so the same word, Bruce Lee trained really diligently, but because he do not yang, charging you need to rest. Proper diet, proper sleep, proper rest. You cannot just stimulate your muscle with electrical, those kind of stuff, or keeping training every day. Okay, so the balanced training will have lian and yang. Only that will get one into the strengthen the body, which is strengthen the physical body and be able to support the martial art applications. Once this yang is taken out, meaning that you are not charging your energy in the body anymore, you train it, the system draining, and it's going to use up and dry up. Okay, so that is what happened with Bruce Lee. Okay, according to Chinese medicine, Yellow Emperor Classic, and according to the old-timer or expert of the Chinese martial art or Chinese Qigong and so forth. Okay, so what I present or share with you here today is you need to know when you practice martial art like Wing Chun, there's the lian or training, which is have the circulations or have the movement or applications, and the yang, which is you have to charge your body, rest and let it charge up. Have a good diet, let it naturally balance itself. That is the phase of charging or yang. Okay, if you have this both, then there is not going extreme and having problem. But if this is not met, expect internal damage and whole bunch of health issue after 40 years old. Or meaning that 40 is just a number, 35 from 35 up when people start aging. Okay, so qi is about this. Internal training is about this. That's why it's called yang qi, charge, or develop the qi, yang qi, meaning that it's charging this body. And then it's lian qi, meaning it learn to circulate. So if I want to say, for example, I want to have the qi flow in my body so that I can smooth out the stagnations and so forth, that's called lian. After I Lian, after smooth out, I have to quiet down with my mind, enter into the quiet state and let it Yang. Otherwise, I don't have the energy. If I keeping doing Qigong that way, running, it's going to burn out the whole body's energy. So today, a lot of people talk about, oh, I have this Qigong, I have this run here, run there, run there. You look at around there, they don't talk about Yang. Oh, I have to concentrate on this chakra, that chakra, or my upper dantian, lower dantian. When one's use one's intention, that's already Lian. Yang meaning you let it go everything. Okay? That phase is very important. That phase need to be known. Okay? That's why in the first stanza, first writing on the IYikKam Xiu Lim Tao Quit 1840, he said, 即意慧神平肩打. Collect your thought, collect your intention, union with your Shen, meaning let go. In the natural equal shoulder stand, you practically resonance with the nature. There is Yang. Okay? It's not you start a set right away, you start this way. No, they sit on the Yang. And then after performing the set, practice the set, they again sit on this Yang, slowly. Let the body regulate itself before they walk away. That is Yang. So the set has Lian and Yang. Okay, this is what happened in the ancient, and we need to follow this. That's why I said we need to follow law of physics, biomechanics, biology, and Yellow Emperor classics. This type of stuff you can test it in the lab. Okay. So when we talk about Qi, don't go far away. It is this energy which is running the body or support or supply this body or the breathing. That's it. Okay. So this is to share with you all today, and I hope that with this video 4 of the YouTube give you a big picture of what's going on. And since my agenda is to get into the university, I need to share all these details. Am I perfect? Never. But somebody has to start. Okay? So this is for you today.